grew up between Zaria and Kaduna. I went to school in Kaduna, primary school, a Catholic primary school. There was no issue of hijab. I went to secondary school, a Catholic secondary school. All the children dressed exactly the same. We did exactly the same things. And when I finished, I wasn't too sure of what I wanted to do. I played around a bit, sang because I had a good voice. I went off, trained my voice, came back, went to some teachers' college. I did drama, singing, music, psychology. At the end of the day, I settled down to reading French. I finished, I got into university. After the first year, depending on how well you do, you are expected to go to France and spend a year abroad. I went off to France, spent the 1 year, a little bit over 1 year, and then we came back and I completed my studies. During my youth corps, I was posted to Oyo State. I got married. And after my youth corps, by the time I finished my youth corps, I was expecting my first baby. I finished, then taught. That was in Ife. I taught in Ife. I taught briefly in the university, but it was boring. You leave staff quarters to the campus, from campus to the staff quarters. So I decided to go out. So I went to the teaching hospital, which was on your way to Elisha. I contributed my little quarter. But I feel fulfilled in the sense that, one, I was not found wanting. I think I must have been the only GED that was not invited for questioning. To date, I don't know the office of EFCC in Abuja. And I was happy. I came out without anything. I didn't even have a house. I was struggling to pay my rent. When my rent is almost due, I don't sleep well. But I thank God. I was even offered to be GMD. But at that time, I had just had a major surgery. And I was trying to heal. And the surgeons had said I should avoid sitting for long hours. And being a GMD would mean sitting for long hours, because even as a GED, we would sit at a meeting from 10 o'clock. 10 p.m. we were still at the meeting. I would have to be getting up, come back, get up, come back, get up. So I said I needed to heal. But I know that I was determination. They have to be focused. They have to always remember that with God, if you do your bit, God will do his bit. You remember where you are coming from. You remember all your parents went through to get you through the university, for example, right through to the work you are doing. And if you have a conscience, you will not mess around. And young ladies must try and disabuse their minds from this concept of, I must be close to an oga. I've always told the girls that I came across You don't need to be close to an ogre to be successful. I'm not saying be cheeky or be rude or be arrogant or have chips over your shoulders or no. You're focused, you're hardworking, you're humble, you're respectful. Don't get caught where you're not supposed to be. And if you're given any assignment, do it. God will test your piety. God will test your faith. And if you hold on to God and you do your bit, God will do his bit. And for me, I don't go to bed with any hassles in my heart. Once I've prayed, my problems, Almighty Allah, you said we should call you. Alhamdulillah, so far so good. But when you begin to struggle, this person is here. I must beat her and pass her. When this person says, I must pull her down and that's what makes people age, because you are troubling yourself unduly. Fate is fate, destiny is destiny.
Predominantly male occupation, civil engineering. Then I worked in LNG for 10 years as a project engineer, and then I went to HR. And then after that, I left to start my own cooking gas retail company. All these things that I've done, I don't think I would have the confidence or the courage to do them if I didn't have a mother like my mother, who essentially just showed me that, look, you see it, you kill it, and you move. That's it. If it's in front of you, it's in your way, you either jump over it or you break it down and you keep moving. And it has pretty much kind of set the tone for everything that I've done in my life. And one of the gifts she's given me is the gift of an interesting life, because anything that I have imagined myself doing, I have had the opportunity to do it. So my mom is the kind of person that there's no idea you take to her and say, oh, mommy, I want to do this. And she'll say, are you crazy? No. She'll be like, yeah, sure.
She and my father, 3 daughters. She brought us up. My mom is an Amazon. She never, even though she was afraid, even though she, there were a lot of obstacles put in her way, she just kept on plodding through, She kept on working hard, kept on pushing forward. It's, I can't begin to tell you how many nights she came home and cried, or how many disappointments she had on the journey. But what she has done in my life is that she has shown me that it is possible. Don't ever think to yourself that, that you're waiting for some prince on a horse to come and save you, or some husband that's going to marry you and everything, automatically you don't have any worries. She has shown us that we just need to work hard. We need to be tenacious. We need to be confident. We need to be brave. That even that being afraid doesn't mean that you don't try. You continue to go at it. Even if one doesn't work out, you try a second one.
I think the question you should ask is, how hasn't she influenced my life? My mother is, honestly, I can't summarize her in one sentence or one paragraph. She is the epitome of an African woman, a mother who has strived all her life to protect and to, support her children. She is a lioness in every respect of the word. She's also a mother hen, always worrying for everybody, so long as she considers you her child, whether she was, whether she delivered you herself, whether she was delivered of you, or whether she adopted you, quote unquote. She will always, follow up with you. And, one thing I have to say about Hajiya Aisha Abdurrahman, she believes in a cause, or she believes in an individual. There is no length to which she will go for that person, which she will not go for that person. She's fierce in everything that she does. She's very competitive. So I think that has also driven her to surpass a lot of people's expectations.
In 2013-2014, I worked with Hajiya Abdurrahman. I used to call her Mama. She is the mother. She brought leadership to what it should be. So when I reflect back, it's a great pity that we've lost all our values. So I worked with her. I was then a general manager in charge of properties department in NNPC. She was our group executive director, commercial and investment in NNPC. That's one thing I remember very well. She established business development unit in NNPC. I remember that very well. And what do they do then? They consolidate all the oil and gas and allied business units. For instance, you'll be surprised that NNPC is going into properties. NNPC is going to renewable energies, because this is what their counterparts are doing in Saudi Aramco. So I remember she did that very well, and she's the pioneer. And she was able to encourage other females to be bold to come up. I remember that too, because I was working with her. I was always, each time she wants to go on meetings and strategic trips, she will call on me, can I spare time? I said, yes, ma, I will. So she did that very well, and I know that that's one of those additions to her leadership qualities.
Yes, that's a good question. I have interacted with Aisha for such a long time, and she is a woman of integrity. She is a woman who is committed to everything that she has to do. She's committed to her children, she's committed to her work, she's committed to her friends. She is hardworking. She, is very goal-oriented. I remember there was a time I used to ask her, why are you doing another course? But she just kept on going, bam, bam, bam. She wanted to excel. She always had another mountain that she wanted to climb. So when she transitioned from the bank to NNPC, it wasn't surprising that she started to rise very quickly in the male-dominated environment that it was. And she always was someone who led by the rules. She wasn't a deal player in any way, and trust me, I did want to get her to do deals. So she wasn't a deal player. She was just interested in being an honest, hard worker. She was interested in ensuring that things worked well. But I think most important, she was interested in the welfare and the well-being of the people she led. So many of the people who have been around her, who she has engaged with in in her work, are actually her friends today.
I don't think there are enough words to wish her what I wish her, because it's one thing for you to have a mother you look up to. It's another thing for you to have a mother that has kind of paved the way for you with a good reputation, that has garnered a lot of goodwill. So you walk into a place and introduce yourself, and people will do things for you because of where you come from or who your mother is.